In Photoshop, using adjustment layers is a great way to make effects and color changes to images without destroying the original image. But how do you get those effects to apply to only one layer at a time? In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to use clipping masks to apply adjustment layers to only one layer of our document. So here I have a document. It has 4 layers in which I've put 4 pictures of the same flower, and we're going to do sort of a pop art effect with really dramatic effects so that we can see how this is working. Already I've added one hue saturation adjustment layer, and we can double click on that to see what's in it. I made a colorize option, and as soon as I turn that on, you can see that that blue color is being applied to the image in the top left. That looks great. What I want to do is do a similar effect but with a different color on all the other images in this document. So I'm going to go to layer 2 and I want to add an adjustment layer there. There's multiple ways to do that. You can come down and do this sort of black and white circle. You can also go up here and choose the panel from the adjustments panel. So now I'm going to click colorize because I want this to be a pretty dramatic effect. And I'm going to pick a hue. I want this one to be kind of purpley, and I'm going to also bring up the saturation. I'm trying to affect the flower that's in the top right, but as you can see, as I'm adjusting this, it's adjusting the one I already made blue as well. That's not what I want. So how can I make it so that this one applies only to the top image and the blue one still applies to the image in the top left? Well, this is where you can create a mask. If you right click on the hue saturation layer in your layers panel, there's an option called create clipping mask, and this makes it so that will only apply to that particular image. This one was already stacked where it only applied to our bottom layer anyway, so that doesn't really make much difference. But when I turn this image back on, if I go here and right click on this layer and say create clipping mask, now we can see that it created a little arrow on the layer, and that adjustment layer is only applying to the layer immediately below it. Let's do one more on this image in the bottom left. On this one, I'm similarly going to add an adjustment layer. I'm going to make it colorized so it's dramatic. This one I'm going to make sort of a bright green. And now another shortcut, I can actually use this little button, this adjustment effects button that looks kind of like a square with an arrow, right in my properties panel for hue saturation. And if I click that, now you can see that little arrow showed up over in my layers panel, and that green hue saturation layer is only applying to flower 3 in the bottom left corner. Let's just do that with the last one as well. I'm going to go ahead and make a hue saturation layer. What color should we make this one? Maybe kind of an orange or something. You can see that as I'm adjusting it right now, it's adjusting everything because I haven't yet created that mask. Let's do kind of a purple. We'll see how that goes. And now I'm again going to click on this adjustment layer so it makes it a mask. And now you can see I have a little arrow here so that those layers are only affecting the images immediately beneath them.